On a night of which Sophie was already going through something severe, a ghost decided to enhance it, and when you know the backstory, this is quite sad. Roughly 1 week prior to this incident, the grandmother of Sophie, Sylvia, passed away in a tragic car accident that ended the lives of 2 people. Sophie was extremely close to her grandmother, and she was way too healthy and careful to have passed away at such a young age. Regardless, it happened though, and people just had to deal with it. Little did any of them know that she would come and pay her granddaughter a visit though.
I keep closing this drawer and it keeps opening by itself. Did you just see that? There we go. There was an orb and now there's this. Look. Look. Me. I'm gonna try it again.
This was suspected to be an incident caused by her grandmother, and it would make a lot of sense if this was the case. Once Sophie realized that this was likely the case, she broke down into tears and lay on her bed for hours thinking about her. I think it is safe to say that more harm than good was caused from this visit. Toby went to sleep early one night and he paid the consequences because sleeping early usually results in waking up early. At 1 o'clock in the morning this happened, and he rolled out of bed wondering what time it was. When he realized, he knew he needed to get back into bed. However, despite being aware that he needed more rest, he was not tired and rather fancied something to eat, so went downstairs to start cooking. Little did he know that something abnormal would happen. Strangely, the lid for the pan started sliding across the tabletop on its own accord, and it was obvious that no visible force was acting upon it. Even in the case of an invisible string, it would not be possible because Toby was on the camera, and it was evident that he was not tugging anything. This was a very creepy evening for Toby, and one of which I severely doubt he will forget. The following video was captured by Dylan, and it was filmed during a job that he was not fond of in the slightest. His role was to clean his local restaurant, and he had 3 routine checkups. In the morning, he had to clean it. Throughout the day, he needed to maintain it, and in the evening, he had to clean it. Very demanding with very little pay. The video of which I am about to expose you to took place at 9 p.m. on an evening shift, and Dylan had been working for 2 hours to clean the place. There had been a children's birthday party, hence the balloons, and we all know the severity of mess that these parties can generate. This was the least of Dylan's concerns though. Have a watch.
Creo que mucho el huevo. 3:20 de la mañana. Bien, y siento como que están moviendo las weas, como que las corren. Corrieron los pocillos de la sopa. Acá atrás se escucha como que le pegaran a weas, como que las movieran. Como que las movieran. Weón, está entero rígido acá. Ayer había grabado lo mismo, pero hoy día es como que... Weón.
Everything that you could have possibly thought of when you hear the word paranormal happened, and this was an extremely severe paranormal surge. For Dylan in specific, this was highly overwhelming, as he had never been face to face with something of this sort before, and it stayed with him for the rest of his life, with even the most subtle of mysterious incidents causing flashbacks. James lived by himself, and it is safe to say that there are many pros as well as many cons to this lifestyle. The pros include things such as peace, freedom, and the power to actually do what you want with the house. But in my personal opinion, the cons far outweigh them. From having to maintain the place on your own to being lonely at times when you need somebody with you, it mustn't be nice whatsoever. But none of these cons were the crucial ones to James. A paranormal entity was. The clip that I am about to expose you to shortly was taken because the tap started to turn itself on and off, and James wanted to document the phenomenon. Little did he know he was about to film something far more bizarre.
What the fuck?
Whilst the actual clip played, I severely doubt you actually realized what had happened, but fortunately, James included it again at the end. Some sort of shadow figure peeked around the doorframe, and you'd be crazy to not be filled with fright after coming face to face with such a sight. A few commenters claimed that if you mess with the settings on the image to such as saturation, an eye and a nose appear, but I will let you guys test that for yourselves before coming back. After the incident, James came to the conclusion that the only thing he would do was upload it to social media, because he didn't want to anger the spirit by inviting a ghost hunter or a priest around to investigate. However, he was left questioning his decision the next night because the ghost did not seem to be the happiest of beings nonetheless. This time, instead of making the tap turn itself on and then off, the spirit decided it was going to have fun with the cabinet and continuously swung it open and closed. Just like last time, James took out his camera and started documenting the incident, in hopes that the poltergeist would not stop its act, and he was lucky that it didn't. He was now presented with a few choices. James had enough evidence to do something about the spirit, but there was the possibility that the person he hired to banish it failed, and he was left with an even more annoyed ghost. Reluctantly, the conclusion was that he should wait for one more thing to happen, and once it did, he would contact a ghost hunter who drove a decent bargain, provide 3 pieces of evidence, and get 50% off. After a few days, the third piece of evidence arrived.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here. And I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the fuck? What the fuck? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the fuck? Hello? Who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the fuck? Please stop. Please stop. This is my house. Leave. Leave. This is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Once again, everything the spirit did was inside of the kitchen, and it was starting to become increasingly obvious that this was the only place that the poltergeist could truly haunt. One interesting thing to pick up on, though, is the fact that this time around, it only caused mayhem when it was spoken to, rather than being unhinged. Perhaps this was some progress. The ghost was banished 1 week later, though, nonetheless, and James has not experienced anything similar to the sort since. Ghost hunting can be one of two things, a professional and paid job or a hobby. I can sort of understand those who do the task professionally, because it is a very high-paying role for what it is, and the sheer amount of money is probably worth a small fright. However, I cannot bring myself to get behind those who do this simply for fun, because why would you put yourself in paranormal situations for the sole reason of entertainment? It just doesn't sit right with me. The duo in the video that we are about to watch next were visiting a haunted woodland for leisure, and what they found was extraordinarily rare. With that said, have a close look at what they were able to witness.
I'm excited. I just saw something. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Some might call this the most compelling paranormal evidence ever captured on film.
This is Sam and Mike with Viper Paranormal. We're here on the Cruci property. It's January 29th, about 10:45 p.m. My name is Mike. This is my friend Sam. Hello. We don't mean any disrespect. We're only here to learn and communicate. This may be your last opportunity to communicate with anyone.
When you asked that last question, the camera just died.
Really? Was it charged?
Yeah, it was fully charged. I mean, I K2, check the K2.
I haven't seen anything, bro.
Dude, something moved over there, I swear.
Whoa! What's that?
Unlike most ghost sightings where people are only able to see a few objects moving, these guys were able to capture a spirit in the flesh. The transparent figure glided across the camera to the left of the screen, and they were both quick to give chase. From this point forwards, nothing else happened, which made the situation very questionable, but what they saw was more than enough for the day. It isn't often that sightings this prominent are found. On February the 23rd of 2025, a security camera caught something gobsmacking. The sighting was similar to that of the last video, except nobody saw it in the flesh, so the spirit must have thought it went under the radar. It happened at 11 o'clock at night, and nobody in the household was awake. This would not last, though, because the father and mother of the house were woken up by their dog barking, and curious at what was happening, they checked their cameras to see this. Strangely, a transparent figure could be seen outside of the house, and somehow the dog was able to detect it. This is because animals can supposedly see light patterns that we cannot, but I believed that this was a rumor rather than a matter of fact. In the following video, Martin Dickey and his wife Jenny were both operating inside of their kitchen when something happened that took them both off guard. In the corner of his eye, Martin noticed that the cap for the jug of milk was moving on its own accord, but it was so surreal that he couldn't believe his own eyes. He took out his camera and began to film the incident when this happened.
Right, there's nothing touching this milk bottle at all. Oh my god. Oh my god. This empty milk bottle lid is moving on its own. That is up. Do it again. Come on. Come on. Yes! Yes! There it is!
What is it?
I don't know! I have no idea what that is. That is absolutely crazy. There's nothing on or around this bottle. Are you doing it, Fizz?
How can I even do this?
Just do it again. That is freaky stuff. Any more? Any more?
What do you think it is? Is it a ghost?
I can't work it out.
There's some air traps, isn't there? Then there's probably some sort of duct that's pulling it up here.
Is that on though? The duct isn't
I don't
on.
know. I just can't imagine what else it would be.
It's kind of stopped now. We've got it though.
The cap continued to do its thing, moving as if it was being manhandled. Both of them tried their hardest to forge a logical solution, and Jenny came up with the idea that it was to do with the air above, although they both knew that this wouldn't have made this happen. Other than that, there are no real reasons other than the presence of a paranormal entity that I can get behind. The man in this next clip is called Jack, and he has featured in a large number of videos on my channel. This is because he has uploaded many haunted findings to his social media page on TikTok, and they are too good to not include. Jack experiences things of paranormal nature a lot because he collects antique items, and there is a direct correlation between these items and poltergeist activity. At first, things were okay for him, but as time went on, he slowly began to realize that something must have entered his house because odd stuff started happening, and the video that I am about to expose you to is when he managed to catch it all on camera.
Okay, I've just started filming because I fell asleep on the couch and woke up to what felt like somebody stroking the side of my face, which made me jump awake, but I don't know if it was a dream, but then the room is icy cold and the noises coming from the kitchen. Hello? Hello? Can you hear that? It's coming from outside, well, the kitchen there. Hello? Oh my god. The candlestick and the door's just bloody opened. What the hell? Hello? Oh my god. It makes you nervous to fall asleep on the couch, it really does. It's horrible. Is anybody out there? Shit! What the fuck? That's just hit my leg? What the fuck? Oh. Sophie, okay? The cat's just legged it as well. Oh my god. What is going on in here? What? It sounds like somebody sat down on the fucking chair. Fuck this. Fuck off. I'm going in the garden. I'm not staying in here.
All sorts of things happened here, and I will give it to you non-believers. In isolation, these events could definitely have a natural cause, but when paired together, it would be too coincidental for them all to happen within a 3-minute time span. Furthermore, The fact that the room went cold also signals that there was a haunting presence there, and this is something that Jack is going to work on banishing from his home, so we wish him luck. Not many people can stay calm in the midst of ghostly activity, so we really have to give credit to the girl who filmed this video. Somehow she was able to stay really composed and give a clear narrative, despite how frightening the situation must have been, and I can admire that. The time was 3 p.m, and Khloe was with her sister in the kitchen when they noticed the spice rack spinning around without any visible force interacting with it. She started recording in hopes that it would continue, and sure enough, it did.
I think he's after some spices now.
He's in the fucking kitchen.
I think he's just having a look. Oh no! Oh! I think he's having a read of them.
Hello? Hello?
I think he's dropped a few spices. You might want to clean them up.
Not only did the spice rack keep on spinning, but the dustpan also decided it was going to have a mind of its own. It started to swing from left to right, and I am surprised Khloe stayed calm in this situation. She showed the clip to her parents when they rose from bed the next day, and they sent it to a local ghost hunter. They now have a date booked, and it is looking like the house will be cleansed. On a late night in France, a ghost hunter by the name of Duncan decided that he was going to explore a haunted house for his TikTok page. He loved exploring places of this sort and wasn't even in the industry for the money. We know this because he did these kinds of things way before starting social media, which showcases his real passion for the hobby of capturing ghosts on camera. Anyways, sticking to this expedition specifically, a family had passed away inside of the house 4 years prior, and Duncan had been hired by a new family to check for ghosts before they purchased it. This is one of his findings.
Oh, les 2K2. Regardez les amis. Les 2K2. Il marche lui? Non. Nom de Dieu. Oh, c'est un truc de fou. C'est quoi le délire? Est-ce que Serge, tu pourrais faire... allumer la lumière bleue, s'il te plaît? Peux-tu te rapprocher de la lumière bleue? Est-ce que tu peux faire un mouvement, s'il te plaît? Merci beaucoup, Serge. Wow, wow, wow. C'est quoi D'accord, Serge. Il y aurait quelqu'un ici? Est-ce que Serge, tu sais sortir la poupée? D'accord. Dis-moi, Serge. Est-ce que tu penses que j'ai ramené Gabi quelque part? Est-ce que
Out of nowhere, the high vision jacket dropped from the wooden door and it started to shake, as if a real person had nudged or kicked it. This acted as a jump scare to Duncan, who was not expecting the poltergeist to show itself to him so soon, but after the initial scare, he was not frightened at all and continued his journey, later coming across this.
D'accord. Les amis, il y a un vrai souci. Incroyable. Qu'est-ce qui se passe, Serge? Est-ce que tu peux me ramener le ventilateur, Serge? Une dernière fois? Comme tu veux. Wow, c'est quoi ce bordel? C'est quoi ça? Wow! C'est quoi ce délire? Putain. C'est quoi le délire? Ok Serge, je crois que je vais te laisser tranquille en fait. Je vais pas t'embêter. J'aimerais juste te présenter quelqu'un. Oh là, les amis, le K2 il est amorphe. Il est amorphe le K2. Oh, oh, calme-toi. Oh non, non, Serge, non, non. Oh non. Non, Serge. Pas les appareils. Il y a du gaz à ces bombes, Serge.
Unlike the high vision jacket that fell from the door off camera, these items moved right in front of it, which confirmed to the audience that this was in fact real. Duncan added these videos to his evidence file for the family who were paying him a big fee for his work before leaving the home safely. Staying in a hotel is meant to be a good all-round experience, considering the fact that you have to pay your money in order to stay in one. Most of the time, this is the case, but sometimes hotels fail to provide this nice feeling, with the one in the next video coming under that category. However, it was not their fault. Dennis was staying in the hotel before a concert he was attending the next day when all of a sudden something odd caught his eye, which warranted him to take out his phone and start recording. This is what he managed to capture.
Okay, Lisa. Do you want to talk? Open the drawer if you want to communicate with me. Come on, Lisa. Lisa, do you want me to go away? Lisa, come on. Come on, Lisa. All right, what do you want to do? Lisa, come on. We can play this parlor game all day long, I suppose. Here, okay. Open the drawer. Lisa, you want to talk? Lisa, do you want to talk? Do you want me to go away?
We are grateful and proud of our purpose.
Come on, Lisa.
Now more than ever, home has meaning. Home is everything.
Come on, Lisa, talk to me. Show me. Okay, atta girl. Anything else I can help you with? Okay.
The drawer continued to open and close, and you are probably wondering how he knew the spirit's name was Lisa. Well, the history of the hotel dates back to the mid-1800s, when a woman called Lita was miserably killed by the people in the room next to hers. It is a story that the hotel is haunted by her, but most people believe it is a fake marketing scheme for the hotel to gain more customers, not Dennis. The following video took place inside of a wax museum, and if you do not know what one of those are, for some reason, I am here to explain. A wax museum is a place where historical figures are remade as identical statues, but instead of being forged in a traditional way, they are made from wax. The wax statue that you are about to see is one of nobody particularly significant, and resembles an elderly woman who was executed for supposedly being a witch. Whether she was a witch or not is unknown, but it is safe to say that the clip you are about to watch leads us to believe she was one.
¡Ay, hijo de güey, qué pedo! ¿Qué onda, amigo? No, amigo, no manejo nada de mecatrónica. Es una figura totalmente en cera. Mira, es una pieza total, rígida, no se puede manipular. Te digo, no tiene nada. Te digo, mira, te muestro. No hay cables, no hay nada, no es un robot. Es una figura totalmente en cera.
Strangely, the head of the statue turned whilst he was looking at it, and it was not supposed to do this. As I stated before, the statue was made out of no material other than wax, and it doesn't take a genius to know that wax cannot move. This must have been the act of a ghost, perhaps the witch's ghost of which the statue was supposed to resemble. Olivia Concole and her boyfriend were pulling into the driveway one evening after a party when they noticed something terrifying behind their window. It is important to note that nobody they knew owned a key to the house, and furthermore, no one was supposed to be in there whilst they were gone. These things put together made it very difficult for the duo to believe this was anything other than a threat, and they were lucky enough to take out their camera in time. Have a watch. Some sort of mysterious figure could be seen behind the window, and this would be very threatening to anybody arriving home. Due to the bravery of Olivia's boyfriend, though, they came to the conclusion of not calling the police, and he walked inside, only to find nothing. A few days passed by in the house where nothing of a paranormal nature happened to either of them, but of course this did not last. It was only a matter of time before another clip was captured. Olivia was home alone when she heard scratching outside of her bedroom door, and she started to film so that she could show both social media and her boyfriend what was happening. Little did she know that something even worse would occur in front of the camera. Somehow, something pulled the cloak from the door, and it was obvious based on the movement that this was unhuman-like. On top of this, Olivia went to investigate the other rooms behind the door, and to her dismay, found nothing. This is when she started to believe that what they were experiencing was a haunting. There was still one more event that took place before they decided to take action, though.
Wait! There's legit no one in here, dude. No one is in here.
All around the house, strange things were happening, and it was very evident that the cause was not a human. Spirits ridiculed this house, and Olivia has recently gone to the local church seeking assistance. We wish them luck in the future. Louise was home alone one night waiting for her husband, Michael, to come home from work. She was getting rather frustrated because he had got stuck in a traffic jam, and she hated sleeping when she was the only one in the house due to some past experiences with break-ins, so she was forced to stay awake. When it got to roughly 10 p.m., she called her husband again to see if there was any progress in advancing through the traffic, but to her dismay, there was none. This is when Louise decided to record a short video explaining the situation to her friends to gain comfort from them, but roughly halfway through this happened.
Don't like it. Don't fucking wake up. I hate it. Fucking bollocks. Fucking bollocks.
For some reason, the bottle of alcohol had a mind of its own and decided to start shaking on the table. Despite being scared, at first Louise was not frightened enough to flee the scene, but immediately after the bottle collapsed, she was certain that some form of entity was messing with it. She fled the house and visited her mother before sending the clip to Michael. He posted it online. Most people tend to be fearful and cowardly when it comes to encountering a spirit, but the man in the following video was the complete opposite and took absolute control of the situation. He was relaxing in his living room one day as calm as he could be and had just finished eating dinner when suddenly he noticed something. An item on the table beside him had supposedly moved on its own accord. Instead of being a coward and running away from the scene though, he filmed this.
Do it again. Move it again. Holy shit. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Holy shit. Fucking camera too. Move it again. You can't be that fucking quiet, dude. Freaked out.
As I said, this man was not a coward and took the complete amount of control in this scenario. He asked the ghost in a commanding voice to do it again several times, and to his fortune, the spirit listened. It goes to show that the way you carry both yourself and your voice makes a huge difference on how you are treated, even when it comes to ghosts. In the following video, Kyle, a student fresh into university and new to the living alone lifestyle, was relaxing in his flat when he started to hear some screams. When I say a scream, I mean the loudest and most excruciating scream you can imagine, and it terrified him. At first it sounded like the sound was coming from the outside out of concern. Kyle went to the window, and if he saw anything suspicious, he was going to call the police. Little did he know that he was about to find out that the noises were coming from within his own four walls.
Yo, I swear to God, there was like some...
Shit! What the f*** is that? What the f*** is that? You gotta be kidding me! Who goes there? Who goes there? That shit cannot be real. What the f***? You gotta be kidding me. What the f*** was that? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be messing with me. I swear to God, this gotta be a joke. Whoever's in here, I command you to leave in the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to leave now. Oh, f***. Oh, f***. I got adrenaline going right through my body. What the f*** is that? Ah, shit! Shit! What the f***? Who goes there? You gotta be kidding me. Wasn't this shit close? Oh, oh shit. What the f*** is that? Guys, you gotta be kidding me. Oh shit! What's the fucking thing? Oh, I'm getting a headache badly. I'm getting a fucking headache badly. Oh, ah, shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! You gotta be kidding me! Oh shit! No!
There is absolutely no word out there that would accurately describe how confused Kyle was by this event, because no matter where he looked in his house, the screaming girl could not be found. When he went into a certain room, it sounded as if she was right next to him, but of course, this was not the case. Around 10 minutes after the screaming stopped, the police arrived at Kyle's apartment and conducted a full search because all of his neighbors had reported it in fear that Kyle was harming people. But after showing them the video, they believed that he was innocent. But this was not the end. Kyle went about a week with nothing happening inside of his home, and he was starting to believe that the event was just a one-time phenomenon that he would be able to forget about and move on from. This was nothing but a wish, though, because after this peaceful week, the poltergeist made another appearance.
What the Oh, What the What the Alexa! Stop the music! Alexa, stop! What the In the name of Jesus Christ, I ask you to leave this house right now. What the Who goes there? Somebody's in there, you better come out right now. I got a knife on me right now. Come out right now. Oh! In the name of Jesus Christ. I ask you to come out. Who's in here? Who's in here right now? You better come out.
This time, some demented laughter was used to lure Kyle into the screaming, and the neighbors were once again concerned. This time, the police gathered all sorts of evidence to try and prove that Kyle had done something evil to a woman that night, but no matter how much they scrounged the building, nothing was found. It is reassuring knowing that the forces cared this much, and equally as good that Kyle was not falsely prosecuted. On November the 30th of 2020, during the coronavirus pandemic, everybody was home alone, doing their own thing. The majority of people were completing their work from laptops or rotting away on their gaming consoles, but not Austin. In fact, he was rather bored. He was retired, so he had no job, and he knew about as much when it came to technology as you know about the engine of a Fiat 500, my point being nothing. However, he knew how to record, and that skill came in handy when something mysterious started happening inside of his house. The cupboard opened and closed continuously, and using his brain power, Austin knew to record the cupboard to make it evident that nothing was making this happen. He did a good job at this, and you would be a fool to claim that a visible force was acting upon this object, so that leaves one solution that you all know. This was a paranormal encounter. Austin sent the video to his family group chat, and it was posted to social media by one of his relatives. We have no updates, so all we can do is hope that Austin is okay. One thing that comes with social media is trends, and these things can go from harmless dances such as the Renegade to deadly and manipulative games like Blue Whale. Well, what if I told you that there was a small-scale trend on the internet called The Sky is Blue, and here is how it goes. It is a paranormal game where the person playing is supposed to recite the words to a poem and then pan the camera into a doorway. It was supposed that after panning into the doorway, you would see a face, whether it be clear or a faint image. And one day, a woman wanted to test that. This is how that went.
The sky is blue, and I see you.
The sky is blue, and I see you. The sky is blue, and I see you. The sky is blue, and I see you. The sky is blue, and I see you.
It took several attempts, and we have to admire how courageous she was for doing this. Her persistence must also be mentioned, because despite failing several times, she kept reciting the final lines of the poem. At the final doorway, something fell from the roof, and this not only frightened, but confused the woman. The trend was supposed to reveal a face, and not just a paranormal event, so it made no sense as to why the real thing didn't happen. But I guess life has many mysteries, and this is just one of them. Mark and Sarah both lived in a small house together and were finally in the stage of life that they wanted to be in. Sarah was pregnant with their first child. Mark had proposed to her, and they were both earning incomes, which made them more than stable when combined. It was the life they had both dreamed of having together, until they realized their rented house was likely haunted. Day in and day out, they would hear mysterious noises, and whenever they went to investigate, something would be different in the room, such as a misplaced ornament. Well, this time, something different happened when Mark went to investigate, and he was lucky enough to catch it on his camera.
I heard the noise again from back here. I heard the noise again from back here. Holy shit.
What? What is it?
Sarah, come look at this.
What?
Look at this. Look at the
The kitchen drawer slowly opened, and it was clear that nothing made this happen. Mark called Sarah to let her know what had happened, and she was really freaked out with the fact that something actually moved in front of his very own eyes. They needed to get out of this place, and it needed to be soon. Now, you've all heard of the term baby steps, right? It's when you take something one small step at a time, and after a long period, the progress will have gone far. However, have you heard of the term ladder steps? No, because it doesn't exist. That would be a silly saying, because ladders aren't able to walk as they're not human, right? Well, this roadside construction worker proved this statement incorrect when his ladder made a run for it. It may have walked away at the speed of a snail, but a walking ladder is insane nonetheless. The worker who captured this uses it as a claim to fame and tells the story to every new ally that he comes across. It is safe to say that he was relieved rather than terrified by the incident. For the final clip, we are delving back into the ghost hunts of the star of the show on this channel, Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter. Ian has been hunting spirits for several years now, and calling him a professional in this field would be an understatement. The following video took place in a haunted manor local to his house that he thought he might as well visit for some content. His expectations of the manor were low, but due to it being such a nearby location, there would be no loss in visiting. It turned out to be the right decision, considering his goal was to be haunted.
Come towards you, okay? Whoa. I'm hearing like tapping sounds on the wall. Is that you, Suzie? She literally just tapped on one of these coloring pages. It was like this. It was one of those. Suzie, I heard you really like coloring. Is that true? If so, could you move one of these coloring pages? I see you've got a whole coloring book here too. Is this your favorite color book? Oh my god! Oh my god! She just flipped the page! What the What did I just witness? She literally just flipped the page on that color book. I cannot believe what I just seen. I cannot believe that. Suzie, did you just flip this page? Are these your favorite? Your favorite pages? I have got goosebumps on my goosebumps. Could you flip to another page? I'd like to see what else is in here.
It was clear that Suzie's favorite coloring book was in fact that one, and she moved it in order to convey this. Now, unlike most spirits that have the intention of causing torment and suffering, for some reason, Suzie seemed to just want company and taught Ian things about herself. This was on the least scary side of his encounters for certain. The following video took place during mid-2022 and was a part of a large ghost hunt. A man called Ellis, alongside his partner Sylvia, were both fond of exploring haunted territory, and they often came across some interesting stuff. I chose this clip because of the importance of the location. The building was on the same street as the graveyard in which the father of Ellis had been buried after unfortunately passing away. Sylvia had always wanted to visit the place, but of course, since Ellis had his dead father nearby, he was not so keen, but she managed to convince him. This is a clip from their adventure.
¿Y qué puedo hacer? ¿No puedo abrir la puerta? ¿La pude abrir, mira? ¿Sí? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Será? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Me meteré? ¿No va? ¿Para qué va? Porque no va a ser que me regañen, va. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter, amigos. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter. ¿Hay alguien aquí adentro? ¡Uy! Cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta, cerraron la puerta. No me meto, madre. No me meto, no me meto.
Ay, me asustó la pinche pulsa.
Amigos, cerraron la puerta, amigos, cerraron la puerta. ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? Se miró bien clarito, amigos. Como que alguien está aquí adentro. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Uy. Uy, Gary. ¡Mira, se volvió a abrir la puerta, Gary! Se volvió a abrir la puerta, ¿lo viste? ¿Hay alguien?
¿Alguien para acá?
Sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien, sí caminó alguien.
Una sombra blanca los dos.
¿Hay alguien aquí? ¿Qué es? Mira, 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 mira. ¿Lo viste? ¿Quieres que me meta? ¿Quieres que me meta? ¿Dónde estás? Me voy a meter. Me voy a meter. No, no me meto, no, ¿qué me voy a metiendo? ¿Qué me voy a andar metiendo?
Es que no te debes meter a Alonzo las capillas.
Alguien está adentro, Clary. Alguien está adentro. Mira, ¿viste que se abrió y se cerró? ¿Quién eres?
They heard a lot of noises from the inside of this room, and that is what prompted Ellis to start recording the situation. When his phone came out, the haunting stopped for a brief moment, and he was actually ready to end the recording. But fortunately, the paranormal levels spiked again, and he gained his evidence of the situation, and more importantly, content. After capturing this, Ellis thought that he had gained enough content from the building and prompted Sylvia to head home with him. Beforehand though, he wanted to visit the local graveyard to give his father a visit, but little did he know that this graveyard also had high paranormal activity rates.
Vamos para acá. Yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Vamos, amigos, clientes compartidos. Vamos a poner el Spirit Box, amigos, para ver dónde está esa mujer. Gracias, Adrián Pozos. Uy, uy, que se cayó algo aquí. ¿Quién está aquí? Ay, Dios. Ay, Dios. ¿Hola? Uy, 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 alguien venía, no manches. ¿Quién se encuentra en este lugar? John Herrán. Gracias, Mata. Uy. Ay, Dios, se movió el vaso. Ay. Si estás aquí, manifiéstate, quiero verte. Quiero saber quién eres. Quiero que te manifiestes, estás aquí en este lugar. Ay, abajo se miró algo. Ay, abajo se miró algo, amigos. ¿Quién está hablando? No manches. ¿Estás aquí? Uy. ¿Estás aquí? ¿Aquí te encuentras? Vamos a poner Spirit Box, amigos. Vamos a poner Spirit Box. Bien.
The levels of paranoia were through the roof immediately after Ellis entered the graveyard, and he just had to take out his mobile camera again. This time he caught movements that were obviously not influenced by a visible force. Furthermore, it was not a windy night whatsoever, and was nowhere near windy enough to move objects. Paired with what he had seen in the building prior, Ellis was certain that this was a spirit, and assuming it was not his father, he left the site or as soon as he could. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this peace had to come to an end. Have a watch.
Son 2:15 de la mañana. Estaba por contar que pasó una sombra caminando, sentí una presencia que pasó para el baño. Pasó una sombra para el baño, no sé si ir a revisar, se están cayendo las cosas acá. No sé si... Entró acá al baño, lo vi caminar, pero traspasó la puerta, es increíble. Muchos me dicen que grabe el espejo, pero no hay nada. No sé. Estoy grabando. Se escucha risa. ¿Qué es adentro? Es adentro. Nada acá. No sé. Ya acá se caen las cosas, ¿no? Ya no sé. Acá. No sé qué hacer, no. Se me está viendo opaco el celular. Se me está quedando como. Sin batería celular. No puedo grabar con. La concha de su madre. No puedo prender. No puedo prender el cel. No me deja prender el flash acá.
Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
Acabo de escuchar ruidos que vienen desde acá. Ahí lo acabo de grabar. No sé si lo grabé bien, pero se escuchó claro de acá. Sobre la caja musical. La concha, suena. Y ese hijo de puta. No puedo prender flash. No puedo prender. Se prendió la casa. Se acaba de poner la caja musical de vuelta. Ahí pude prender flash. Se acaba de poner de vuelta la caja musical. Concha de su madre.
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip, so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this peace had to come to an end. Have a watch. Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
No, qué sensación fea, boludo. Pero sentí escalofrío. Yo sí, calor. No, mira cómo ha quedado, boludo. La concha de su madre. Allá está. ¿Silbido? Yo no me animo a ir allá atrás. Te juro que siento gente, mucha carga energética, pero mucha carga. No gano hasta de llorar, les juro. ¡Ah, la mierda!
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. One of the rarest things that we manage to catch spirits doing is getting physical with their victims, and when this happens, it truly is terrifying. It's enough not being able to see something that is emotionally tormenting you, but when you can't see something that is physically handling you, that is on another level of horrifying. The upcoming clip mixed this horror with the prospect of the haunting happening to a child, which just added to the severity of it all. If you get triggered by children being involved in paranormal activity, then brace yourself. It seemed that the poltergeist gripped the child by the ankles and dragged him towards the door before he had full control again. The way the child glided across the floor made this impossible to stage. And trust me, I like to catch a fake ghost video, so the fact that I believe in this one says a lot. Poor child. When you receive a camera motion detected notification whilst everybody is in bed, it can mean one of two things. Either the cat is up to no good, or something bad is happening and you have to check it instantly. Deciding to presume the latter was the case, the husband of a family decided to open his camera app, and what he saw was shocking. At first, he believed that their daughter was messing with the lights at 12 a.m. and was ready to give her a telling off, but after being convinced by his wife to analyze the footage, he did, and they both found out something bizarre. If you zoom in, you will see a bright-looking face, shortly followed by a pair of legs that step forward and then appear to disappear. After questioning their daughter, she claimed that she was in bed by 12 in the morning and they believed her, considering they usually hear her when she opens her creaky door to leave the room. Chances are she couldn't have snuck out, meaning that this was on a high-odds stake of being a spirit. The Midwest Ghost Hunter is a name that you have probably heard come up on this channel before, if you're a regular, and this is because of how many spiritual clips he has actually been able to obtain. With the sheer amount of haunted places that he visits, he is bound to gather a lot of interesting content, and it was no different in the video that I am going to be showcasing some clips from to you. The place in question was an abandoned sanatorium, and unlike most high-production paranormal channels, he went into this place with absolutely no one. No camera crew, no experts, and most importantly, no friends. How did this go? Well, have a watch.
Hello? Is there anyone up here? I keep hearing strange sounds up here. Who's up here? I'm getting the creeps already. The sounds came from this side. Hello? Oh, okay, I'm hearing more noises. If that was you, could you make another sound? This is one of the rooms. One of the rooms I was hearing the noises. Are there any patients in here? Whisper somewhere in here. Hello? Who's in here with me? Could you tell me your name?
As you can see, it didn't take long for the ghost hunter to realize this was going to be a successful hunt, and that he certainly wasn't going to go ghostless for this entire journey, which has happened to him before in the past. This clip happened just 4 minutes after he entered the vicinity, which was very abrupt, and bear in mind, the first 4 minutes before this were full of sounds anyways, so the spirit was definitely trying to fulfill its role of scaring the man. Of course, being a professional ghost hunter, though he was nowhere near phased enough to abandon the mission, so continued to go. It was at the point that he started to use real equipment that the real juicy clips started to rise, though.
Oh, come on, Ian. Let's go towards him. I'm coming towards you. Whoever or whatever's up here is giving me a creepy vibe. I wonder what would happen if I ran the spirit box right now. I think I'm gonna try it. Who's walking down this hallway? Doctor! It just said doctor! Doctor who? Say that one more time. The doorknob. Just grip that doorknob. Holy shit. Something gripped this doorknob. What the heck? I heard that. Did you just grip this doorknob? What the? Oh shit. I just felt like a force. It like pushed me to the side. I didn't feel anything, but it was like a force. It was like a force like pushing me this way, but I didn't feel anything touching me. That was so freaking bizarre.
After taking out the ghost box, some form of paranormal entity communications device, it said that the spirit in the hallway was a doctor, but this was not the concerning part. Shortly after this statement, it said no visitors, which indicated that the spirits were far from happy in his presence, and unfortunately, he did not hear it, which led to this final incident.
Man, they just keep coming. Oh, God. There's definitely somebody up here with me. What kind of spirit would haunt an attic in an old hospital? Something not good, right? What? Dude! Am I going crazy or did that just move? No fucking way! You see that? It was up against that wall. Those beams. Who moved this box? Thank you, whoever you are. How in the world do you explain that?
None of the clips so far had been physical movements, so it made a drastic change to the hunter when the box moved, because his analysis on the spirit's type would have shifted heavily. This is probably why he appeared to be frightened with such a huge reaction, because I assure you, with his experience, he was far from scared. James is one of our victims who knew that his house was haunted before recording his clip, but this did not stop him from getting frightened by the situation. The weird thing about James's story is that he purchased his property with the full knowledge of its haunted state, and here's why. He was in a very poor financial position and had to seek a small property. However, he was more of a spacious kind of guy, so searched for some potential bargains online, and soon enough, he found one. A pretty big home with a price as small as a terraced house, but the catch was, it was haunted, and it was not long until he experienced it firsthand.
We have come alive. These are accent pieces that are not meant to go unnoticed into the decor.
Alright guys, this is the place I stay. For the last 2 days I'm hearing things around. I'm really not sure what to say. Okay, let's find it out. I always feel something here. Something around, man. Seriously. You know, like the footsteps or something. Always. Always I hear that. Did you hear that? Oh my god. Oh my god, man. Oh shit, look at the face on the pillow. Oh, what the fuck, man. Whoa. Let's move on, man.
He walked around the house whilst filming to see if anything would happen, and for a while, none of the spirits seemed to entertain his antics. However, towards the end, a nice-looking chair moved on its own accord, confirming to James that he had not bought a property that would be easy to live in. We can only pray that he is able to cope in the future. 11 years ago today, Ronnie Jewett discovered that the attic in his house was haunted, and he has not been the same since. He was a member of a relatively normal family, and whilst they did all find him to be on the more weird side of things, he was nowhere near weird, to the extent that he would be expected to be haunted. Ronnie didn't believe in any sort of religious or spiritual creatures, and had an "I'll believe it if I see it" mentality. Well, in this short video, he did see it, and he was very close to believing it.
Okay. Alright. See, I have no strings or nothing. This box of a fan keeps fucking moving on its own. No, I have like fucking, I don't see how I would have strings attached anywhere. I'm holding the camera with my other hand, so oh my god.
After this scenario, Ronnie tried to come up with all sorts of silly reasons as to why this was not caused by a spirit, but despite his efforts, nothing that exited his mouth was logical. He went as far as blaming rats in the attic for moving and causing vibrations that moved the box, but let's be real, that's a bit of a stretch. You and I both know that Ronnie experienced the paranormal, and the sooner he believes it is, the sooner he solves all of this. In the following video, a man who had been haunted for many years had decided that enough was enough and was going to perform an exorcism. The thing was that he was completely uneducated in this field, but thought that the sole belief in God that he had would be enough to enhance his skills. Unfortunately, knowing how to read a holy scripture and say your God's name was not enough for the man to banish the spirit from his home, and above all, just made everything worse.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, te pido, Señor, que me proteja en el nombre del Padre, Hijo y Espíritu Santo. Hoy quiero leer este salmo. Thus says the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. I am the Lord of the God, who teaches you the prophet, who leads you by the way you should go.
In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I command you to take these demons out of the house. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, I ask you to leave my house, please. I command you to leave the house in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I am reading the Father's prayers. Leave this house now. Leave in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I command you to leave right now. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The fact that this ritual was supposed to make the spirit leave this household is beyond crazy, because that is nowhere near what it did. The words of the man did nothing but aggravate it, causing screaming and a huge paranormal surge. Not to mention the fact that the cross flipped upside down, which confirmed that this was the cause of a demon, likely why it was angry when the scripture was read. Moving into a new house can be one of the most stressful periods in a person's life, and there are many factors that play into this. One of the biggest factors, especially when relocating to somewhere far away, is whether or not it is the right move for you. And I doubt that this is the case if you were to find out your new home was inhabited by the paranormal. Unfortunately, the father in the following video, called Khloe, was home alone with his daughter in the new house alone, and he noticed something weird. Have a watch.
Hey guys, I just want to show you something. I just moved into a new house, and some weird things have been happening. Here, just let me show you. Pardon the mess. It's a little bit of a disaster because, like I said, we just moved in. But anyways, right here, I just want to show you my daughter is sleeping. Okay? Now watch. Here this back room is where it gets weird. Just listen to this. Look at my cat reacting. Nope, not doing it. Hang on. She's still right here. I can't do this.
For some mysterious and unknown reason, the voice of his daughter could be heard coming from inside a random room, and Khloe made it very evident that the child was not in this room. The poltergeist he had come across was clearly a mimic, which is an entity that can copy the voice of anything with ease in order to manipulate and scare its victims. Khloe and his wife are currently in the process of banishing the spirit and are in negotiations with a local ghost hunter. Feel free to wish them luck in the comments. A woman in the Netherlands had recently moved to a new apartment in hopes of seeking a fresh start due to her old place of residence being haunted. In most cases, leaving a haunted house leads to the person never experiencing something paranormal ever again. But in a minority of cases, this is not what happens. That is because a ghost can be attached to a person as well as a property, and in the situations where the spirit follows them to their new home, it is because it is with the person. Anyways, this happened to the woman in this video.
Dat lichtknipper er weer aan en uit in de hal. Oh, in het nieuwe huis. Dat. Oh, ik durf niet. Oh, ik durf niet. Verdorie. Helemaal klaar mee. Oh. Oh. Ik durf echt niet. Donder op, ik ga er niet naartoe. Ik bel wel iemand.
She had heard some noises coming from behind the door with the flashing lights and took it upon herself to go and investigate rather than stay in the room and not find out the source. To her dismay, there was nothing causing the sounds, and she realized that this may have been the worst possible outcome. Her ghost had followed her. When the sound was followed up by a swinging light and an apparition, she knew that her theory was confirmed and wanted to try a way other than moving house to solve the issue. In order to save money and not pay a ghost hunter, she is currently talking to a priest and prays that she will see a day without a demon beside her. On September the 10th of 2024, something was captured on a Streetside camera that made most people question their sanity. The specific time was around 9 p.m., and the only reason that the camera was checked by the local forces was because an incident had happened on the street that night. There were 5 witnesses, but that was not enough when there was a literal camera on site. Well, what if I told you the police got the witness count wrong and missed one?
Perhatikan bayangan di pojok kiri.
If you look closely, there was clearly a spirit in the middle of the road, but what it was doing is beyond me. The reason we know it was a spirit rather than a shadow casting was because it was standing still the entire time, and none of the humans in the area were idle. Furthermore, the way in which it fled the scene was ghost-like as it drifted down the road, but I guess we will never know for sure if a poltergeist is what this camera caught. Gemma was visiting a group of her friends who lived in another part of Portugal that they did. She was fortunately allowed to stay in her best friend Megan's house for her stay, which prevented her from having to fork out the money for a hotel, and this is what really allowed her to go on such an adventure. There was something that Megan hid from Gemma that might have led to her cancelling the entire trip, and this information was that the house was haunted and the moment that Gemma found out what was caught on camera.
It's me. I'm getting ready to say goodbye. I'm going back to Florida. Miss.
Did you see that?
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
Happening here.
What the heck was that? And there's nothing here.
So sometimes these things open like by themselves, and it's, oh my gosh, you gotta see this.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm scared.
Fortunately, Gemma was leaving the city the next morning anyway, hence why she was sending a goodbye message at the beginning, but she had no clue what the video would entail. From a running child to a drawer opening by itself, it was horrifying for Gemma, and even managed to insert fear into Megan, who was meant to be used to all of this. In many of our recent videos, we have included a clip from a ghost hunter known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, but his real name is Ian. In all of these videos, he has been exploring the exact same place, a haunted manor, and we are finally nearing the end of this exploration. Every piece of content that came from this search has been amazing, and this one that you are about to watch, filmed after a spirit turned the lights on, even gave Ian a spook. Take a look.
Holy crap, that's a shock to the system. I've been walking around the dark for hours. Suzie, did you just turn this light on? I took it off the infrared just to show you guys what I'm seeing right now. I can see a lot better now, so thank you for turning the light. Oh, I can't see.
Oh my god, I am getting really freaked out in here. Jeez Louise, it's almost like she's toying with me. Are you having fun messing with me? It's okay if you are, I mean, that's why I'm here. So thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
For some reason, just moments of turning the lights on, Suzie, the spirit in question, turned them off again in an attempt to frighten Ian. The attempt was a success, and he was left terrified, just like you should be left terrified for my next video, because a video from Ian will appear again. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Basements can be useful in all sorts of different ways, and I seriously question how some families let them pass by without using them. Roy, the man who owned the basement in the following video, used it as a storage unit for all sorts of things, and it really did help him store way more items in his house than he would be able to. Every day he would come in and out of the basement using items and placing them back, but one day he heard some banging from down there. He called his wife's name, assuming that she was searching for something, but when he failed to hear a response, he knew that something was up and approached the basement. Once he reached the bottom of the stairs, he realized that nobody was in there, and nothing evident was on the floor that could cause such a sound. Roy stood still for a few moments, questioning what the noise really was, but eventually decided to turn around and go back up the stairs. It was at this moment that the banging sound recurred, and the wooden horse started to rock on its own accord. Out of fear, Roy ran back up the stairs, and when his wife arrived home, she was informed about the incident. They both agreed that it was strange and something must have been wrong, but came to the conclusion that they should not take any action and just hope it was a one-time thing. To their dismay, the very next day Roy heard knocking from the garage this time and knew he needed to investigate once again. As he predicted, the same thing happened again. He gave in and followed the sounds, and when he did, he witnessed an item moving on its own accord. Roy and his wife are currently in contact with several ghost hunters over banishing the ghost, and all we can do is sit back and hope they successfully make their house pure of evil again. The following series of videos was captured by a child who was home alone, and it is always sad to see people under 18 fall victim to ghostly activities. Seeing an innocent adult suffer is frightening enough, but when a poltergeist takes it upon itself to target children, it takes things way too far. And whilst the kid in his saga was 14, that is still young nonetheless. The first clip took place when the teenage boy heard some knocking noises around the house. They eventually led him to the bathroom, and the rest is as shown. But before I play the clip, it is important for you to know that your paranormal clips can be included in one of my future videos. All that you have to do is email hauntedofficial@gmail.com a description of what happened alongside the attached clips, and I will give you a guaranteed feature in one of my videos. Anyway, here is the clip.
Oh! What was that? What was that? in the bathroom. Something came from the bathroom.
What was that? What was that? Something came from over here. Let me see if I can match the sound with anything. No. No. That was it. Someone banged on my keys. Someone banged on my keys. The chair! The chair is moving. Not a soul inside. The chair moved.
The spirit started to bash the keyboard located on the desk of the teenager, and he was intelligent enough to work out what it was doing. However, shortly after he drew this conclusion, the chair behind the desk moved without any human interaction. This was not all that happened, though. Have a watch.
This is not fake. I'm home alone, and all this stuff is happening too. Did you see that? The refrigerator door opened. Oh! The refrigerator door opened. Oh! The door just closed. Oh my. What's that? Okay. Gotta get up. Man, I was kind of pushed there.
This time, the poltergeist decided to mess with doors and opened the refrigerator and also closed a random door. This was spooky for obvious reasons, and the poor boy was in audible shock. He was debating leaving the house, but out of fear that his parents would be angry, he decided not to. This turned out to be one of his decisions on the dumber side of things.
What was that? The door. I don't know what that was. I'm not gonna go look in there. Oh, it's cold. Something must have touched it. What was that? It's cold. Let me just... Okay. Nobody's here. What was that? Whoa! I think he locked me in. He locked me in! Help! 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 He locked me in! He locked me in! Help!
Fortunately, the boy was able to escape the room, but it was likely that the poltergeist allowed him to. It was obvious that this spirit was more powerful compared to others than we have seen on this channel, and the footage was sent to an exorcist who came over without any delay. All you need to know is that the house is now cleansed, and this story has a good ending. Movies are a great pastime, and Josh Ribillard believed in this heavily. Unlike most men, he didn't turn to the world of video games when boredom overcame him and opened up Netflix instead. And this is exactly what he was up to just before he filmed the clip that I am about to expose you to. He was browsing on the homepage looking for an interesting film to watch when all of a sudden his son's wooden horse started to rock without anybody being mounted upon it. Unfortunately, he did not catch it on video, but took out his camera in case it happened on a second instance as he wanted proof. This is what he managed to capture.
Okay, so I just came down here to go watch a movie, and I swear that thing was moving again. Maybe it was just me, but it definitely seemed like it was starting to move or about to move. Yeah, there it goes again. I don't even know what to do at this point. This is not even mine, it's my nephew's. They just left it here. This happened yesterday too, but I didn't record it. It'll start, then stop, start, then stop. See, see? And start again. Great.
The horse rocked back and forward as if somebody was on it, but it was beyond evident that nobody was. Furthermore, it was clear that there were no strings attached to the horse, and it was doing this seemingly by itself. But we all know what that means, because of course, wood cannot move. A spirit must have been having some fun with it, presumably a child. Winston was a construction worker, and he really enjoyed his job. The pay was fabulous considering he had fun whilst he was on shift, so it was literally perfect for him. But despite all of this, what you are about to see was so bad that it almost made him quit. It took place in an abandoned restaurant that a new company had purchased the land of and wanted it renovated. They contacted the company that Winston worked for to do the job, and they were there within 2 days, however. They would have charged a much higher price if they knew just how haunted it actually was.
The kitchen, like the kitchen area.
It is. They're real quiet about it. I will not go down.
Oh, it's cold right here. See that away. Hello? I'm not going up there. Definitely not going back there. Oh wow, it is really cold right here. What was that? Oh. I don't think it's happy we're here. I want to go there. Oh, holy. Dude, there's...
A mysterious figure was sitting in the corner of this room, and before you call it a coincidental light casting, it was obviously far from that. When Winston entered the room, the shadow vanished, and furthermore he felt a cold and dark feeling in the room, which is a telltale sign of a spiritual presence. I don't know what you think, but I am certain that this was a paranormal encounter. Nothing really went on in Newtown, Sydney, and it was seen as a rather chill area at the time that the upcoming clip was filmed. The niche area that it happened in had not become host to many crimes at all over the past 2 years, and was a really safe place for families to live. Hence why Joey and her children decided to move there when the man of the house left them to fend for themselves. One night, Joey decided to go clubbing with her friends, and she got a little bit carried away with herself, so ended up setting off home at 3 o'clock in the morning. Her drunken state caused her to think that she was hallucinating the whole situation, but due to her trusted camera, she managed to confirm that this was not the case.
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a begging
At first, whilst the footsteps were coming from behind the fence, she thought that there was a real person in her pursuit, and being a lady at 3 a.m. without any other people around, that would not be a good situation to be in. However, moments later she heard the footsteps right beside her and quickly turned her freeze response into a flight response and went as quickly as she could. Despite being drunk, she was able to escape the situation and make it back home in one piece. But the next day, she decided to do something very dangerous. Joey took her car back to the same location at 3 a.m. once again, in order to investigate what had happened with her full conscience and ability to quickly get out of there. It is safe to say that she would not survive a horror movie, but here is the clip.
I don't think I should go in there. Holy fuck.
The ground literally shook, and it sounded like some sort of humongous creature had leapt from the tree that was shaking vigorously. The strange thing was that she did not see anything, and based on the pure volume of the sound, it should have definitely come with a visual being. Regardless of what it was, Joey quickly got back into her car and made sure she never came across this area at such a late time again. Make sure to put what you think the source of this noise was down below, but in my personal opinion, there is only one answer: a poltergeist causing fear. The award for the most featured man in Haunter videos has to go to Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, and this is because of the sheer amount of videos that he managed to upload to his YouTube channel. They are all packed with haunting incidents, and this one was no different. It took place in a haunted asylum that he decided to venture into all by himself, and the following video occurred shortly into the exploration.
All right, we are locked in the Randolph County Asylum. I'm not gonna lie, I've got a bad feeling about this place. Not because there's anything evil, but just all the dark history and just the countless amount of spirits here and activity. It's like I'm in this vast abyss, all alone. But I'm gonna do what I always do. I'm gonna ghost hunt, and I ain't gonna run, no matter what. Oh, whoa. Jesus Christ, that almost looked like a doppelganger. She's wearing the same clothes I'm wearing. If there's any spirits in this hospital, could you give me a sign of your presence? I'm gonna find my flashlight. Holy shit. There is a wicked windstorm going on right now, and I am sure that'll only add to the paranormal activity tonight. Hello? If there's anyone here, could you give me a sign? I'm gonna try to take some photos. Catching a lot of orbs floating around in here. Are there spirits in this room right now? Is that what I'm seeing?
This clip showed his entrance into the asylum, and it is rare that you can capture Ian so terrified at such a short time into his adventures. You could tell that he truly sensed that something else was inside of the place with him, and this was confirmed with the fact he managed to catch some ghostly orbs on camera. Of course though, Ian's videos include a lot of clips, and this is only the beginning, with one more being showcased in this particular video. Take a look.
There's more orbs over here. Where are you right now? Could you show yourself? Whoa. Something just hit the floor. What the heck is that? Did you just throw this? Or did it just fall? What is that? It's like a gourd of some sort. Where did this thing come from? Right there. Whoa. Dude, there's like a whole dish of the things. And look at that. There is no way that just fell. There is definitely no way. I mean, look at the distance it would have had to have gone. I mean, I know I've been walking around and like this floor, it's a little shaky. So, I mean, that is possible that maybe me walking caused it to fall. I don't know, that is strange. It's just the distance it fell that's throwing me off. Put it back in here. If you just threw one of those gourds, could you move?
Some form of food was launched from the bowl, and it made a thud sound, which is what allowed Ian to notice what had happened. Thus could not have been a natural collapse, because there was no presence of wind in the room, and without that the food could not have landed so far away. Subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss future videos, because this is only the beginning of a long exploration for Ian, and I am sure that you will be seeing clips from him in almost every video. A trio of siblings were all in their parents' room when they swore they witnessed a chair rocking without any human interaction. It was as if someone or something was sitting inside of it, causing the phenomenon to happen. But due to the clear view of the front and back of the chair, it was obvious that nothing visible actually caused this. That beckons the question though, what did? And I think we all know the true answer, but I'll let you have a watch beforehand.
Okay, I'm here with my cousin Braden, my cousin Benton, and my brother Karsten. And this is our parents' bedroom, and we've been catching this rocking chair moving by itself, and nobody believes us. But we're all here at home alone, and we're gonna see if we can catch it now. Somebody want to ask it to move?
Move.
I will.
Please, sir or ma'am, please move the chair if you can. Or male or female, move. I'm scared.
Me too. Probably ain't gonna do it with us sitting here.
Oh, I'm so scared, cousin. Why does the trash, cousin?
Is it moving a little bit?
Oh my gosh. It is. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh. Oh. Man, that's so creepy. Why do we have to stand here? Huh?
Wait, hold on, wait. Somebody go see if somebody's behind there.
I will. Why do we have to do this? Oh, no one's behind there. Oh,
Let
gosh.
me see. Let me get it on
gosh.
camera.
Oh gosh.
But it is moving. And nobody's back there.
I'm so scared.
And plus, you can see in the mirror. Nobody's standing behind there while it's moving. Oh, it's slowing down now. Is it gonna do it anymore for us? Nope. Stop. So there we go. We got it on camera.
It was evident that a spirit caused this from the fact alone of the chair moving after the siblings asked it to. They were all frightened by this, but due to being a trio, they were able to feel much less fear than usual in such a circumstance, and luckily caught it on camera. They sent the video to their mother and uploaded it to YouTube to see what they should do next, but the vast majority of people online didn't believe them, so offered no aid. If you have any advice for these kids, then leave it in the comments so that if they come across the video, they can get the help that they deserve. Ghost hunting in terms of a paid profession is something that I can get behind, because the amount of money that people get paid for their work in this industry is surreal. However, when people do this as a hobby rather than a job, things begin to feel strange. Alonzo was a ghost hunter, far different from the rest, and instead of using his love for the paranormal as a tool to make a living, he simply had fun with it. Whether it was using Ouija boards inside his own house, or exploring others and helping them out free of charge, he was happy to do it, and this is why Alonzo was seen as a bit of an outcast. Regardless though, he continued to help people in haunted trouble, and the following video comes from one of his house visits. Before I show you the video though, if you have any paranormal clips and would like me to break them down in a future video for you, then send the footage to drokumedia1@gmail.com and give me the story of what happened. Now, have a watch.
Aquí hay muchas manos, para que vean que aquí hay manos. Dime cómo te llamas. ¿Por qué estás aquí? Uy, algo están pegando. Vean todas las manos que hay aquí. Vean todas las manos que hay aquí. Uy, ¿dónde estás? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso? ¿Estás aquí conmigo? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¡Ay, se volteó! ¡Ay, se volteó! Volteó la cabeza, para. Volteó la cabeza. Uy, no manches, la cabeza la volteó. Uy, me dio miedo. ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Vamos a levantar esto. Manches, está llorando, amigos. Está como llorando. Vean. Está como llorando, miren. Está como llorando, miren. ¿Cómo te llamas? Si estás aquí, quiero que me digas tu nombre.
The first weird part of this video was that Alonzo's device was indicating a presence and trying extremely hard to translate what it was trying to say, but unfortunately failed. This was not the spookiest part though. The spirit also decided to move the mannequin, and Alonzo made it very evident that there were no attachments on it. This video was the act of a ghost, but it was Alonzo. He looked back and enjoyed it. One day, James was doing the innocent activity of eating breakfast when he got a really weird and eerie feeling out of nowhere. It felt like he was being stared at deep into his soul, so he decided to do the most logical thing and look around. His head scanned the room, but was drawn to a counter, and to the surprise of James, a cup from this counter launched itself across the room as if a person had thrown it. It was after this that he started to record the incident, just in case anything else followed, and he did the right thing because it did.
Off the table. Cleaned up all the glass, as you can see. But I'm home alone, and even when I'm not home alone, all this stuff seems to happen. What was that? I'm not feeling too well. You know what? Gotta calm down. I'm gonna find out what this is. Really? Really? Nobody's here. You coward. What? Why are the lights turned off by themselves? I'm scared. What was that? Did you see that? Did you hear that? This is scary. Let me scan around. I really should call out a paranormal investigation team. Oh my gosh. It's cold. It's freezing cold. I can't touch it. It's so cold. I'm so scared. Really? Really? I can't deal with this anymore. I'm leaving.
This was a big step up from a moving cup, and all sorts of hauntings happened within a short period of time, which is referred to as a paranormal surge. The most prominent incident was when the stool collapsed to the ground on its own accord, and happened to be freezing cold in the aftermath, which anybody who knows anything about ghosts knows is a huge giveaway of a presence. James contacted a ghost hunter after this incident, and surprisingly, negotiated a low price, so they are expected to come within 2 weeks. All we can do is pray that the hunt turns out successful. Mark and Shannon were a happy couple living in a not-so-happy environment, and it was quite sad to be completely honest. They were perfect for each other and could not wait to live as one. But when they started to rent their first property, they had no clue that it was going to be haunted. Every time one of them was left alone in the house, a huge paranormal surge would happen, and luckily for you, Mark decided to record his entire evening once, just to prove to some doubters that this phenomenon was actually happening to them, and I managed to find the footage. Here you go.
Something's not right now. I don't know what it is. Something is not right, dude. What is it? What's up there? What is it to you? My adrenaline's pumping, my heart is racing. I've already seen some fucking weird shit.
The spirit opened the kitchen cupboard on video, and it was obvious that no natural thing caused it to happen. Mark sent the video to all of his friends that doubted him, but to his dismay, none of them believed him, and thought he was more of a weirdo for pretending and setting up a fake experience. Do you think the experience looked fake? Let me know in the comment section, but I personally think it looked authentic enough to believe. On February the 5th of 2025, Maddie was at home when something spooked her so much that she had to evacuate her house and hide in her vehicle whilst waiting for her family to come and protect her. It's important to note that before this event, she had never experienced anything paranormal, but when she noticed a shadow figure moving in her yard, she knew that it was far from a natural light casting. Here it is.
I understand this is probably going to sound insane or look like a blur to you, but I was crying. I watched this thing move across in my rearview mirror when I was driving back of my car to the front. I could see it from outside and in the mirror. I got out of my car, like staring at me, but if I looked away, I couldn't find it until it was closer. I have never felt fear like this. The hair on my arms was standing up. I was crying on the phone with my mom, waiting for my stepdad to come over because I couldn't believe this is what I really saw.
While poor Maddie was sitting in the locked car, the shadow figure continuously stared at her, and every time she looked away from it, it supposedly got closer. It was genuinely like a horror movie for her, and she even suffers from PTSD because of it. Beyond this point, she becomes scared by the most normal shadow castings and thinks that the spirit is haunting her again. There have been no verified sightings of the spirit from Maddie since, though, and we are safe to believe that the only long-lasting effect from all of this is her trauma. A tourist called Mitchell was visiting Scotland and decided that he was going to take a leisurely stroll down a nice and long road. When he reached a certain point, though, he began to hear some distinct banging, but assuming it was just a human using a hammer or something, he ignored it. As he got closer and closer to the sound, though, it intensified, and the rate in which it happened only got louder. It was when he reached an abandoned building that he realized it must have been the source. Curiously, he walked around the building to see if he could figure out what was causing the banging, and sure enough, he was successful. This is what he found.
It is a ghost.
It's just a wind.
Wait. Must be a ghost.
No, it's a wind.
No, it's a ghost. There's nothing else there. What else could it be?
See? Really?
I told you it was haunted.
Now, there are several reasons why this could have been faked, but I am about to debunk them. First of all, the wind could have easily caused the door to move, but if this was the case, why would it have stopped the second another noise was made behind the door? Secondly, there could have been an animal or person behind the door barging against it, but no matter how far you zoom into the crack, absolutely no movement was visible. Everybody in their right mind knows that this place was haunted. The man who recorded the following video is actually a viewer of the channel who submitted the content to drokumedia1@gmail.com in order to be featured, and if you want something similar, then make sure to do the same. A few years ago, he made a very small YouTube channel where he would read scary stories in the location that they happened in, and it was quite a cool idea, I must say. After the event that I am about to show you, though, he was forced to give up entirely and never wanted to do something of this sort ever again. It took place in Jerome, Arizona, in the Jerome Grand Hotel, and it was extremely creepy. He had just finished reading a letter from a subscriber when this happened.
Okay.
The viewer was woken up by the sound of feet running across his hotel room, and he instantly turned on his mobile phone camera, followed by his flashlight. There was a loud noise that struck fear into him, but then out of nowhere, the tap turned itself on. This had to be a spirit rather than some sort of pipe issue because the handle had physically turned, meaning something had to have moved it, and it was evident that nothing else was in the room at the time. This experience was very spooky, and all we can do is hope that they haven't experienced anything of the sort since. I won't forget to say thank you to the kind viewer who submitted this, and the email is on screen if you want your clips to be in our future videos. The following video was captured by a shopkeeper called Damien, who was walking around making sure that everything was in pecking order before opening the store. It was very important to make sure that all the items were displayed well, and nothing was misplaced because it helped to maximize sales, which is important for obvious reasons. One day, whilst Damien was on shift doing this regular work, he started to feel weird and heard odd sounds. It was because of this that he started to film and managed to get this on camera.
Bueno, gente, soy el sereno acá de este supermercado y ahora estoy por lavar toda esta zona. Esta sería la zona de huevos, lácteos, y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma, qué querrá, ¿no? Bueno, parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Que quiero trabajar tranquilo. ¿Estamos? Por favor.
All sorts of weird phenomena started to happen around the store, and Damien knew that something was there with him. From falling bread to collapsing trays, all of this would not have happened by sheer coincidence, and the spirit was making its presence known. This was a horrible experience for Damien and actually made him religious. Fortunate, neither him or the shop have seen or hosted any more activity since this date. The kitchen is a common place for paranormal activity, and I have absolutely no idea as to why. Seemingly every video that I publish on this channel has one or two instances that take place in the kitchen, and the one that you are about to see is no different. It took place in the home of Casos, a Spanish father of two who was enjoying his day off from work after lying about being sick. The bad karma got to him though, because this happened whilst he was supposed to be having a relaxed time.
Bueno, ahí para que vean después el video se lo voy a mostrar. Estoy colocando agüita para llevar un tecito, un termo. Vuelvo a cerrar. Tengo la taza. Esa es mi bebé. Esa pulguita es mi bebé, que se llama Canela. Y esperando. Aquí vean esta piolita. Ya, ahí empezó. Ya. Vaya a empezar a huevear. Estáis hueveando. Bueno. No es algo muy normal. La taza se movió. El gato. No es muy agradable la sensación que se vive acá. Ya, es hueveo, ya. Ya cabros, un ratito para afuera.
He started to hear some mysterious sounds coming from the kitchen, so he did what anybody would have done and investigated. He expected to see something such as a rodent or his cat causing chaos, but what Casos found was very disturbing. The mug moved itself on its own accord not once, but twice, indicating that it was haunted. Casos was extraordinarily lucky to have caught this on camera, because who knows who would have believed him otherwise.